Then finally, Bingham would respond when the Carson Sudbury touchdown tied the game. Or excuse me, actually, before that, they had another punt. And then after that was when we had Brooks Wild score on the screen. So that made it 14-7 after the touchdown. Then we had that 47-yard field goal from Anderson, who's just about to set to boot it away in a moment. We'll tell you what happens on that in a second. But first, I got to tell you about how the game, the first half ended, because Bingham drove all the way down inside the 5, had 3 shots to get it in, and where they were stuck. Huge play, arguably the play of the half by Bot Wooly Talo, who had his first sack of the season. It couldn't have come at a better time on third down that forced a field goal. Short kick this time is collected, and some room to run early for Swenson. Swenson finally dragged out, but not before he was able to reach the 35 on the short kick. So this will bring back out the Bingham offense. 11:52 to go now. They'll start 1st and 10 from the 34. So the Miners looking to have more success. They scored 1 touchdown and got to be frustrated because after that sack, they actually missed a really makeable field goal as well. So just a tough break for them overall. Could have been deflected though. Salazar gives it to Sudbury on the first carry. Sudbury squeezes his way through the line for a solid gain on first down.
Chase Swenson, your ball carrier.
Actually, Chase Swenson that time. All the ball carries kind of puzzled into, or excuse me, pushed in together. So difficult to see. Weird to see right now, but no Carson Sudbury in the game at the moment. Got to imagine that'll change here shortly, unless there was an injury we're not aware of. But either way, they give the gift. Swain once again, this time, Lone Peak all over it. 2nd and 5 will be either 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6. They'll call it 3rd and 5 at the moment, though. 17-7. Third and 5 from the 39. Just under 11 to go. Muitalo already with 1 sack. Eager to get another. It's 3rd and 5. Brimhall and Swain operate in the backfield. Still no Sudbury. Now, Salazar shifts to under center. Nowhere to go. Looks like a broken play, and it's not going to lead to a first down. On top of it for the tackle was Tegan Tao. Salazar looked like he wanted to do a handoff at first, and then no one was there, so he ended up taking it and running it, and it'll be a quick 3 and out after the solid return, courtesy of the short kick for the Miners. Currently trails 17-7. As we see Wicker make his way out to the field. Wicker, the punter for the Miners, has been exceptional so far. Already pinned him inside the 1-yard line. Has had a couple other strong kicks here early too. Navahine waiting the delivery. Wicker nearly blocked by Muitalo. Now he lets it bounce, picks it up at about the 10. Makes a cut, tries to get away, but a exceptional tackle was made in space. Trying to identify the number that time as he was wrestled down by Lucas Talbot. So the strong tackle made. That'll bring up the Knights offense now. 9:48 to go. 1st and 10 from the 25. Blake, 2 backs flanking him, 2 receivers to the left. Start it in the middle of the field. Blake gives it on the first play and getting it that time. On the short game was Gabriel Tom. So Tom with it. Tupia on the stop. 9:27 to go. 2nd and 10 after no gain on the Tom K. Blake takes it in the gun, throws it out. Over to Gain again, this time in the flat. Gain cuts it inside and is absolutely walloped. Big time hit that time. Leading with some physicality is Peppa. As the Miners students and fans get riled up for 3rd down. It'll be 3rd and 6 from the 29 with 9:03 to go.
3rd down and 6 for the Knights.
3rd and 6. Jackson Blake's been sharp on 3rd down early. 4-man rush. He's got time, throws it low, and it's deflected off the dirt. Strong coverage that time, coming late to prevent any chance of a catch by Bodie Peterson.
20% basket. Marcus Bates defending on the play.
Have our first Lone Peak punt of the day. Then touchdowns, field goals are stalling for the Knights early on their newly renovated field.
Kate Daly on the top for the Knights.
Sudbury usually back to return these. Still haven't seen him yet this half, so not entirely sure what's going on there. It's a short punt, bobbled. That ball is live, and eventually it was collected. It bounced perfectly. Oh wait, Lone Peak ended up with it, and there's been no whistle. I'm very confused. I wasn't sure if Lone Peak, if it was down actually. So it was actually recovered by Lone Peak, as it just was a difficult bounce of the ball that time. That was total chaos. I wasn't even sure he was down until they blew it dead. Lone Peak could have had a chance to return that potentially.
And with that turnover, Arrow Custom Homes will donate another $100 to the Knights.
Not entirely sure who recovered that one, unfortunately, because of the chaos of how it played out. But 8:36 to go, 17-7.
1st and 10, Knights.
Jackson Blake. 8:36 to go. Blake motions both backs out of the backfield. He's got a clean pocket. Blake with time. Flushed out, looking downfield, decides to tuck and run. Blake makes one defender miss before slipping out of bounds. Looks like it'll be just short of the 1st down marker, but a good carry by Blake.
He picks up 8 yards on the play.
8 on the carry by Blake, or the keeper by Blake.
He's forced out of bounds by number 2, Carson Stepford.
So Bingham stalled their first drive and don't even get a chance at the second because of that unfortunate turnover. Man, I got to say, the play of the game so far really seems like it might belong to Bop Mulitalo. When you look at what Mulitalo was able to do early on with that sack to end the first half, really saved a potential touchdown. And because of that, 17-7, 2nd and 6 from the 38 for the Lone Peak offense. Wild in the backfield. Blake gets it over, and it dropped. It looked like it was in and out of the hands of Seth Haskett.
Intended for Seth Haskett.
8:07 to go, 3rd and 6 now from the 37.
Defended by Charger Big.
Lone Peak offensive line led by Pay has yet to surrender a sack so far today. They've let pressure through once or twice, but still no sack surrendered here early.
3rd down and 4 for the Knights.
8:07 to play, 3rd and 4. Blake with Wild in the backfield. 4-man rush is picked up well. Blake with time fading away. Had Wild open, but severely underthrew him as he backpedaled. Nice interior push that time by Tupaya
Intended for Brooks Wild.
to force Blake to move backwards.
Marcus Bates.
Kind of no man's land for Lone Peak. We'll see what they decide to do, leading by a touchdown. Looks like at the moment the offense is going to remain on the field with 8:02 to go in our 3rd quarter. 4th and 4. Back-to-back incompletions for the Knights place them in this position. Big opportunity for Bingham here to get back on the offensive and then get a stop. Probably the first throw of the day that Blake really wishes he could have back there. Blake gets it. Clean pocket with time, gets it over. Brooks Wild makes the grab, and Wild dives, getting the 1st down. And the Knights offense is able to get the 4 yards they need and then some. 17-7 with under 8 to play.
Thank you to our great chain gang. Hale Tilly, Lynn Combs, Sherry Berry, and
Blake still with Wild next to him. 3 receivers on the right. Left hash. Now motion Wild out. Blake looks over the middle of the field, has his man. It's caught by Hoffine. Hoffine dragged down over the middle of the field, but now before he picked up another 1st down gain. It's a gain of about 15. Lone Peak offense firing on all cylinders now to pick up that 4th down.
Charger Doty with his
1st and 10 from the 14. Doty credited with the tackle. $7:12 to go. Blake looks, has Robinson. Robinson up top. He's Waiting for the signal. Got it. What an exceptional, remarkable, whatever adjective you want to use, grab by Trey Robinson, who goes over the top and mosses the defensive back for the score. Robinson's first touchdown of the season makes it 23-7, could be 24-7, barring the PAT. Robinson's looked impressive early. He nearly had an improbable catch off a defender's back early on in this one.
To attempt the PAT set.
But instead has to settle for his first touchdown via the Moss. The first kick is up of the second half, and it's good off the PAT. 24-7, Lone Peak leading it inside their home field. But still 7:03 to go. A lot of time for the Miners to mount a comeback. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Max Preps Radio.
After a drive of 75 yards in 10 plays and a 2-minute 45-second time of possession, and with the Jackson Lake TD pass to Trey Robinson, Lone Peak puts another 7 points on the Fairbanks Orthodontics scoreboard.
Welcome back inside tonight's field, where Lone Peak leads on their newly renovated field 24-7 with 7:03 to go in the third quarter. A muffed punt by the Miners led to a short field for the Knights, and they took advantage of it. Lone Peak drove down off some big throws by Blake and a couple nice plays by Wild, and it all resulted in the Trey Robinson touchdown. Robinson, Wild, and Mayberry all with scores early, and Robinson with one of the plays of the game there, Mawson, the defensive back. Exceptional concentration and athleticism on full display. Anderson booms the kick, goes back deep, and it is brought in. Running down the sideline with it is Talbot. Talbot turns a solid gain into it. He'll get out past the 25. As Talbot heads back to the sideline.
Arami Kaili with the return for the Miners.
Unfortunately, it looks like Sudbury's day is over. I believe I have spotted him without his shoulder pads on, with some ice on his shoulder, as a matter of fact. So the Miners' best player offensively ruled out for this game, and what a blow it'll be for them, trailing by 2 touchdowns and a field goal. So the 17-point deficit, 24-7, 6:55 to go. Drive will start at the 26. They give it on the carry and drag down quickly. After receiving it that time was Chase Swenson.
He's caught by Junior Tahi and Joshua MP. 1 yard loss on the play, second down and 11.
Second and 11, 6:30 to go now. Miners front ready for that attack. See what Salzar and the offense can come up with. Salzar fakes the handoff, pressure bearing down on him. Just has to throw it up in the air. Has a man open, but he lost it. Had to turn around quickly. The throw was a little off target, though, because he had to air it out under pressure, as Salzar was quickly put under pressure by Bot Mulitalo. Standout sophomore, looking like one of the best players in his classification. Excuse me, in the classification or class. Either one works for how he's played tonight. 24-7, 6:18 to go. 3rd and 11 from the 25, excuse me. Miners offense desperate for some momentum. Salazar starting the shotgun. Bring Hall. Line up in the backfield. We see whistles all over the place, and it'll be a timeout Bingham. The earliest they've had to burn a timeout in either the first or second half so far. They burned a few later in the first half length, but not what you want to have happening for Bingham there, but just not on the same page right now, trying to get things worked out. It is game 1, and it is game 1 of the high school football season, and there is plenty of action to follow in the state of Utah and all across the state. So make sure you guys keep it tuned in to Max Preps Radio. Is tomorrow night. We'll have more exciting games and matchups for you all across the United States of America. High school football is back. There'll be high school football games every week from now all the way until December. And there'll be football in general game-wise from now until February when the Super Bowl happens. Things you love to hear. 24-7 with 6:18 to play. Miners' passing offense hasn't been the best tonight. They were able to get that big play before the end of the second half when Salazar was flushed out to his right and threw it downfield. It was a little bit of a coverage bust by the Knights as one of the Miners was wide open. Not sure if they'll be able to get a similar look here, but I'm sure it's what they'll hope to have happen. 24-7 with 6:18 to play. No Sudbury, their most dynamic offensive weapon. He charged with Maine. Of course, Salazar is under center to get it done. Third and 11, Lone Peak has already made some big defensive stands today. An opportunity to make another here. 6:18 to play. 4-man rush for the Knights. They might be showing blitz. Martinez no longer with the team. The task now falls to Salazar, and it's a false start. So make it 3rd and 16. The self-inflicted penalties, unfortunately, do not stop. (24-7), and now it's 3rd and 6. Actually, penalties waved off for some reason. I'm not really sure why you wouldn't want it to be 3rd and 16, but either way, pass rush comes. Mulitalo gets the edge, flushes Salazar out of the pocket. Salazar has a man open, lost it downfield, just overshoots him down the field. Brimhall had a step, and Salazar on the move just overthrew his intended target. Tough break for the Miners, and the punt unit will come on once again as they face 4th and 11. Navahine back to return the punt again. Wiki back for the punt. Takes his time, launches it right into the hands of Navahine. Navahine up to the right. Crosses the 45, crosses the 50. Navahine stays up on his feet. Navahine still up, but a bevy of Bingham defenders will finally drag him down, but not before he's inside the 30. The best return so far today belongs to Matthias Navahine.
He picks up big yardage.
So 24-7, the difference in this one, and it'll be a chance for it to grow for the Bingham Miners. Excuse me, for the Lone Peak Knights. The Bingham Miners looking to get a desperate stop here, a much needed one with 5:54 to go.
Knights will have 1st and 10.
1st and 10 from the 29. Jackson Blake already with 3 touchdown passes today. Easily over 100, could be over 200 at this point. Gives it to Wild. Wild, off tackle to the left. Barrels over a defender. Gets about 6 or 7 on the carry. First and 10 from the 29. 2nd and 7, under 6 to go now from the 26. Blake is wild to his right, middle of the field. 2nd and 7. Tight to the line. Robinson, they'll give it to him on this little pass in front. Robinson tackled. Exceptional stop made. And fired up about that one is Lucas Talbot.
Stop by Charger Doty.
Or excuse me, looks like it was Doty on the stop. I've called his name a couple times tonight. Doty shoots the gap and makes the big play on Robinson to make it 3rd and 11 from the 30. 4:46 to go. Blake with time. Looks left. Wants Robinson. Robinson adjusts and has it broken up. Blake really underthrew him that time. Betty wishes he could have that one back as Robinson had to try to make another miraculous grab on it. It's 4th and 11. And we'll see what Lone Peak opts to do. Lone Peak student section wants a pass interference. It was not, so they will not get one. 24-7. And looks like we do see Blake come off the field, so we're going to see a kick here. He already made one from 47. This would be another booming shot. 10 seconds on the clock for Connor Adams. Adams sends it deep, back, no good. Adamson unable to put that one through from way outside. So 4:26 to go. Miners still alive, 24-7 with 4:26 to play on Max Preps Radio. First and 10 from the 20 for the Miners. 4:26 to play in our 3rd quarter. Salazar sets up the screen, and it goes right through the hands of his intended target that time in Iono. Bingham resets.
Salazar's pass is incomplete. Intended for McCoy. Iono.
(24-7), 4:23 to play. Miners offense really stalled at the moment. Salazar will start in the gun. No Sudbury. We'll see what they opt to do here. And they'll give it on the carry. Breaking free with some room. So Sensen makes it 3rd and 4. Play clock under 20 now. This game started with a helicopter bringing us the game ball back in the 1st quarter, and now Lone Peak has only continued to take flight from there. 24-7. Looked like that might have been a false start, but either way, it's a carry and charging ahead. And that time is Carson Settler. Did Settler get the first? He did. Settler, courtesy of Nick Halleck, in the front for the Miners, moving the chains. Under 3:30 to go now in the 3rd quarter. This Miners team just shovels through ball carriers at an alarming rate. You get Swenson, Carson Settler now as well. Salazar's carried it a couple times as well as we saw. So we know Sudbury did. Brimhall's gotten multiple carries. 2 receivers on each side. Salazar, 1st and 10 from the 33. Salazar all day to throw. Rolls out to his right. Looking downfield. Has a man open in the middle of the field. It's a low throw. I don't think he caught it. It was incomplete as it hit the dirt first.
Penalty marker is down.
Penalty marker down. 24-7. Under 3 to go in our third quarter. 1st and 10 from the 33. 24-7. Appreciate all of you for joining us on Max Preps Radio for the first game of the high school football season in the state of Utah. Done great matchups on hand in our state, and as we mentioned earlier, all across the country, courtesy of Max Preps Radio. Salazar on 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. 3 receivers to the right. Salazar alone in the backfield. Salazar will be on the keeper, follows his pullers. Salazar cuts it back inside. Dragged down after a gain of about 4. Clock is stopped right now. Now it starts to move again. 2nd and 7 from the 37, so actually only a gain of 3. Niners going to have to go back through the air if they want to move the chains. Can only hope the Sudbury injury is short term. Is it just terrible to see one of the top players in the state of Utah go down with an injury this early in the season? Under 2:20, 3rd and 7 from the 36. Lone Peak student section getting rowdy. 3, 2, and looks like they're going to get hit with a delay of game penalty as not ready at all were the Miners. Frustrations continue. Coach Fernandez and Jones both displeased that Salazar was unable to get a playoff there.
Delay of game charge to Bingham.
So instead of 3rd and 7, make it 3rd and 12. .208 to play. Ball on the 31 now after the delay of game penalty. 3rd and 12. Salazar alone in the backfield. Rolls out to his right. He's given time. Only has 2 receivers downfield. Salazar going to take off, trying to get himself. Cuts it back. Spin move. Makes a man miss. And he's going to be tackled just short of the first down marker. Salazar pulling out the jukes and the Madden stick. And we have an injury as Mulitalo is shaken up after that one. Mulitalo emerges the injury as it'll be 4th and 1 coming up off the exceptional play from Salazar. So no one open downfield, only had 2 options, so just took it and ran, stopped on a dime, made the first guy miss, and then spun out of a tackle forward to make it 4th and run. So 3rd and 12 becomes 4th and run as Mulitalo gets stretched out. Looks like it's a cramp. First game of the season. You can tell everyone out there is going through it. You can condition it as much as you want, but nothing can prepare you for the game. So you see Mulitalo getting stretched out at the moment right now. It's a Lone Peak team that at the moment is trying to start the season off 1-0. Mulitalo now up and walking back to his sideline. Will hurt the Knights not to have their best defensive lineman on the field for the upcoming down, but back to Lone Peak with Corner Canyon no longer in the region. Makes things a little easier on them, but not a ton easier. You do get the Lehigh Pioneers coming in. You're talking about the Lehigh Pioneers overall, too. Talk about a team that transitioned from 5A up to 6A, but they won back-to-back state championships in 5A, and I believe haven't lost a game in the last 2 years as well. Just exceptional stuff. That'll be a tough test for Lone Peak when they have to play Lehigh this year. Speaking of tough tests, it's 1:50 to go, 4th and 1. Offense is on the field. Salazar under center. Lone Peak has multiple linebackers lined up over center, and they give it on the carry. Met in the backfield. Ball popped out. It won't matter. Turnover either way. Lone Peak meets the physical Miners and forces a stop. Arona Kaili, came in at quarterback for that one play. And on the handoff, the jar was ball loose on the physical hit by the by the Knights. 24-7, 1:40 to go in the third quarter.
Turnover on downs. With that turnover, Arrow Custom Homes will donate.
Second turnover of the second half now that Lone Peak is forced, that the Miners have surrendered. Blake Looks back, pressure Blake's in, tries to throw it over to Wild. Wild, another low catch. He's had to make a couple of those today, and Wild falls forward for a gain of about 3 or 4.
Blake completes to Brooks Wild.
24-7, 1:20 to play in our third quarter.
He picks up 3 yards on the play, second down and 7 for the Knights.
Lone Peak more than content to let the clock wind a little bit. I expect them to hold the possession through the end of the quarter, barring an explosive touchdown here. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Left hash. Blake looks right, throws it. It's a high ball, goes through the hands. Wild unable to bring that one in. Blake let that one get away from him. It'll be 3rd and 7 coming up. Tyson McBride, the linebacker, ended up putting the hit stick on there. Had been looking. He might have had a shot at the pick 6, although the ball was coming really fast, so would have been a close call either way. 24-7, 1:01 to go. Blake, blitz comes, it's picked up well. Blake off his back foot, it's deflected in the air. Exceptional coverage coming in to break up the pass that time was Bodie Peterson. Peterson timed that break up perfectly, and now it's 4th and 7. Wild comes back on the field. Looks like the Knights are going to keep their offense on the field as well. Looks like they will not hold possession through the quarter. So 56 seconds to go in our third quarter, 4th and 7. Lone Peak's offense remains on the field. Left hash, 2 receivers to the left, 2 on the wide side to the right. Wild in the backfield. 4-man front. They'll send a blitz. They give it to, it's a Blake keeper, and all over it are the Miners as they drag him down, making a big-time defensive stand. That time was Will Van Cott. Cott made a huge play earlier in the game on 4th down, the very first drive, and this time forces the turnover on downs, able to bring down Blake, who kept it on the misdirection play. So Van Cott with the physical stop, 24-7 with 50 seconds to play. (24-7). I believe it's Salazar still in. No, actually, I think they made the change. I believe Salazar has been the quarterback, but I believe now they turned it over to the sophomore we originally thought would be starting. Pressure in his face, on the move. Lost one over the middle. Oh, and he's absolutely blasted the intended target. That's going to draw all the flags on the physical hit that time. Flag 4 is going to be Landon Goff as he absolutely obliterated Bryant Jackson. Arona Kaili is now in the game. We thought Kaili would be the starter coming into this one, but instead they decided to roll with Salazar. Kaili going to come back on the field. Kaili, just a sophomore. 6'2", 185. His twin, Aroma, also on the roster. Or excuse me, this is Arona, Kaili. His brother, Armani. Or Aremi, excuse me. Kaili, also on the Knights roster. They get 1st and 10. Off the play. Courtesy of the hard hit that time. Lone Peak was pretty frustrated on the flag. It was a sideline warning, and we had the personal foul that time. For the hit. 43-4, 24, 43-4, 43.4 seconds left, excuse me. 24-7. Kaili with time. Looks, pressure in his face, all over it. Ball might have been knocked out. Ball is out, in fact. Who's on top of it? Knights think they got it, do they? Lone Peak's on top of it. Nothing going the Miners' way tonight. Kaili tried to stub him in the pocket, but it just collapsed on him. The Lone Peak front 4 gets home and forces the 3rd turnover of the 3rd quarter.
Mr. Bato with the hit.
24-7, 35 seconds left. Miners student section trying to rally the troops a little bit.
After that night, Fumble recovery turnover.
So a little bit of positivity for the Miners every time, just leads to something negative, unfortunately. Wild on the carry. Right up the middle, gains about 4.
Brooks Wild, the ball carrier.
That should be the final play of the third quarter, as there's just 25 seconds left.
7-yard gain.
Lone Peak does not need to run another play, and hard to imagine they would want to. And that will do it, in fact, for third quarter action. So 1 touchdown by Lone Peak wide receiver Trey Robinson makes it 24-7. The Miners trail, but there's still a whole quarter to play. Don't go anywhere. Lone Peak with possession when we come back on Max Preps Radio.
Max Preps is America's source for high school sports, and we're looking for more broadcasters out there that have an interest in providing live audio from their high school events. No experience needed, but it can be gained. Email socialmp@cbsinteractive.com to learn more. That's socialmp@cbsinteractive.com.
Are you a parent with multiple active kids? Are you at one event while your spouse is at another? That's where Game Mic comes in, the free app that allows anyone to broadcast live audio so that people can listen on the go and feel as if they were there. Game Mic, it's in the emotions.
Have you always wanted to be a sports broadcaster but didn't know how to get started? Well, Game Mic allows you to go out and practice, just like we need to practice as athletes. You can't get better without work, so gain that experience on Game Mic.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Rivas, co-founder of Game Mic. Thank you for listening in. Game Mic was built so any school, any program, any sport, anytime can create a live audio broadcast. We believe audio brings moments to life. Download Game Mic today in the app and Google Play Store. Game Mic, it's in the emotions.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for listening in to Game Mic. Action should resume as soon as your broadcaster is ready to go. This is Game Mic. Max Preps is America's source for high school sports, and we're looking for more broadcasters out there that have an interest in providing live audio from their high school events. No experience needed, but it can be gained. Email socialmp@cbsinteractive.com to learn more. That's socialmp@cbsinteractive.com.
Are you a parent with multiple active kids? Are you at one event while your spouse is at another? That's where Game Mic comes in, the free app that allows anyone to broadcast live audio so that people can listen on the go and feel as if they were there. Game Mic, it's in the emotions.
Have you always wanted to be a sports broadcaster but didn't know how to get started? Well, Game Mic allows you to go out and practice, just like we need to practice as athletes. You can't get better without work, so gain that experience on Game Mic.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Rivas, co-founder of Game Mic. Thank you for listening in. Game Mic was built so any school, any program, any sport, anytime can create a live audio broadcast. We believe audio brings moments to life. Download Game Mic today in the app and Google Play Store. Game Mic, it's in the emotions.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for listening in to Game Mic. Action should resume as soon as your broadcaster is ready to go. This is Game Mic. Max Prep.
12 minutes, all that remains in the first game of the 2023 Utah High School football season, where the Lone Peak Knights currently lead the Bingham Miners 24-7. Drive starts at 2nd and 3 on the 39. Blake gets it to Robinson. Robinson concentrates through the contact and makes a grab. 11:54 to play now, and that'll be enough for a first down. Robinson has just been really sharp early on in this one.
Picks up the first down for the Knights.
So 1st and 10 at the 36 now. Lone Peak has won every quarter so far, and they forced 3 minor turnovers in the third quarter and the previous one. Some of those self-inflicted by Bingham as well. 11:30, 24-7.
1st and 10 Knights.
The give to Wild. Wild off to the left. Wild makes a man miss before being draped down.
Wild, the ball
at the end. Wild with a strong carry that time, going to the left side. Looks like it's about 5 or 6 in that particular carry.
Stop for the Miners.
(24-7), 2nd and 3 from the 30.
After a 6-yard gain, it's 2nd down and 4 for the Knights.
Blake gives it. A little bit of misdirection that time. Wild once again wrestles forward and gets the first. Brooks Wild with back-to-back carries. Gets the first down for Lone Peak. Lone Peak content to continue to run the ball and keep that clock running. Currently working on what would be a season-opening win at their newly renovated stadium. (24-7), 10:13 to play. Blake gets a snap, pressure in his face, airs one out over the head of the outstretched hands, that time of Logan Hoffines.
Logan Hoffines, the intended receiver. James Lowder defending on that play.
24-7, 2nd and 10 from the 24. Really has been a great day overall for Jackson Blake. Blake already with 3 touchdown passes, has led this Knights offense to success time and time again. 2nd and 10 from the 24, under 10 to play. On the give to Wild. Wild to the right side. Wild chase down. What an athletic play made by Jace Tupia. Defensive lineman, an edge rusher, and kind of defensive tackle. Just a versatile player, able to beat Wild to the edge that time and wrestle him down. So it'll be 3rd and 8 from the 22 after the overthrow and the short carry to Wild. Blake, 2 receivers to his left and right on the right hash. Looks left, waits, tries to buy time, has Robinson open, looks, throws downfield into traffic, and it's hauled in. Seth Haskett with the grab over the middle of the field. Good job by Blake keeping the play alive, drifting to his left, kept his eyes peeled downfield, and found Haskett, who worked his way back to the ball. Haskett had just 1 reception of 7 yards last season. Already beat it with just that. Already beat his season total a year ago with that catch on that drive there. Under 9 to play now. 24-7. 1st and 9 from the 9. Wild to the left of Blake. Blake gives it to Wild, and Wild is met. The Miners reestablish the line of scrimmage. Reggie Smith, as well as once again Tupia, making their presence felt. And someone down right now for, it could be another cramp based on the stretching ensuing. We'll take a very brief break as they tend to him on Max Preps Radio.
Are you a parent with multiple active kids? Are you at one event while your spouse is at another? That's where Game Mic comes in, the free app that allows anyone to broadcast live audio so that people can listen on the go and feel as if they were there. Game Mic, it's in the emotions.
Max Preps is America's source for high school sports, and we're looking for more broadcasters out there that have an interest in providing live audio from their high school events. No experience needed, but
Are you a parent with multiple active kids? Are you at one event while your spouse is at another? That's where Game Mic comes in, the free app that allows anyone to broadcast live audio so that people can listen on the go and feel as if they were there. Game Mic, it's in the emotions.
Welcome back inside to Knights Field, where Bingham Miner is still down. They're working on his foot right now. Can't tell if it's a cramp or what it is, although they are going to take him or attempt to take him up to his feet. Nope, looks like they're going to stretch him out a little bit more. So, situation 24-7, Lone Peak looking to score here. you look at it from that standpoint. Once it's in that situation, it would be 31-7. It seems like it'd be too much for this Miners offense to come back from. So Bingham could really use a turnover, a big play here. If they were able to somehow score, get a stop, and then score quickly, it would just be a 10-point game. Unfortunately, right now, still just they're finally able to get. Peppa was the man who was down to his feet as Peppa hobbles off the field. Miners front has done a pretty good job of stifling the Lone Peak rushing attack. Wild's had some good carries to the outside, but there hasn't been a lot for them up the middle. A lot of success for Lone Peak, and this one has been through the air, and you got to give a lot of credit to Jackson Blake, who's really stepped up for this Lone Peak offense, taking the reins of the starting quarterback job, and looks like he'll have the Knights as a threat to make a run in 6A. 8:20, 2nd and 9 after the short carry by Wild. Wild once again flanking the backfield. Ball just off the right hash. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left on the 9-yard line. Blake gives to Wild, no, keep. Blake looking, has a man open the flat, hooks up with Robinson. Hooks up with Robinson in the flat, but he's forced out of bounds at the 5. So it'll be 3rd and 4 coming up as Dottie makes the stop. 24-7, just under 8 to play. 3rd and 4. Got to imagine it'll be 4-down territory for Lone Peak again, though. Could kick the field goal if they wanted to, but Coach Brockbank and his offense have been aggressive. And speaking of offense, Gary Trowbridge, the offensive coordinator, has done an exceptional job here early for Lone Peak. 24-7, 7:56 to play. Left hash. Timeout. Coach Brockbank didn't like what he was seeing out of his offense. They're going to take a break and talk things over. We will step away as well. You're watching Max Preps Radio. It's the Lone Peak Knights and Bingham Miners going at it.
Max Preps is America's source for high school sports, and we're looking for more broadcasters out there that have an interest in providing live audio from their high school events. No experience needed, but it can be gained. Email socialmp@cbsinteractive.com to learn more. That's socialmp@cbsinteractive.com.
Have you always wanted to be a sports broadcaster but didn't know how to get started? Well, Game Mike allows you to go out and practice, just like we need to practice as athletes. You can't get better without work, so gain that experience on Game Mike.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Rivas,
Are you a parent with multiple active kids? Are you at one event while your spouse is at another? That's where Game Mike comes in, the free app that allows anyone to broadcast live audio so that people can listen on the go and feel as if they were there. Game Mike, it's in the emotions.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Rivas, co-founder of Game Mike. Thank you for listening in. Game Mike was built so any school, any program, any sport, anytime can create a live audio broadcast. We believe audio brings moments to life. Download Game Mike today in the app and Google.
7:56 to play, 3rd and 4. The Knights looking to punch in what would be their 4th touchdown of the day. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Blake motions Wild out of the backfield. He's alone. Blitz comes off the left side. Just got to loft it up in the air. Looking deep and tripped up, unable to get after it was Haskett. No flags, nor should there have been. So it's going to be 4th down. Looks like no field goal unit running on, so it's going to be an offensive output on 4th down. Exceptional blitz that time, dialed up by the head coach and defensive coordinator of the Miners, and Eric Jones, who brought a corner blitz that time. Lone Peak unable to pick it up, so that time Blake just having to loft it out. (24-7), really got to go back. The play of the game, I still feel, is when Bat Mulitalo had that stop inside the 5-yard line. And are we going to have another Lone Peak timeout? Yeah. Knights offense a little out of sorts here early, but just going back to the play I was talking about, Mulitalo and the Knights the Miners had worked it inside the 5-yard line. So the Knights needed to stand if they wanted to hold on to their 10-point lead going into the half. It was 17-7. Two straight rushing plays led to no gain really, maybe a gain of 1. It was third and 2, and Mulitalo broke in off the left side and was able to get a sack on Salazar. That huge play and then the missed field goal after it led to the 17-7 halftime deficit, and since it's been all Lone Peak. Miners really shot themselves in the foot with a couple of rough turnovers. Lone Peak had the 1 touchdown drive when they threw it up to Robinson. And now 24-7, the score of this first game. Lone Peak looks to be the first team to get a win in the high school football season this year. Tons of returning talent across the state. Just storylines in general. Think about like the Skyridge Falcons, the reigning 6A champion. Their new head coach, Justin Hemme, was the OC of last year's team, taking over for Coach Lehman after he moved in the athletic director role only. And now, as I mentioned, going into it for the Skyridge Falcons, you get a quarterback transferring in Jackson Davis, who is a phenomenal talent at that position. La'a Kalama still with them. Ben Howard, just a loaded offensive and defensive line. Deshaun Toilolo, one of the best players in the class of 25. Corner Canyon with Wilson, Garcia, Cash Dillon. All these guys I'm listing some of the 5 to 10 best players in the state regardless of classification. And they are going to kick the field goal from the 4-yard line. Anderson looking to blast it in. 24-7 the score, 7:51. Anderson to attempt the PAT. Looks like we're waiting right now for the go-ahead. We are back from TV, so I believe we're good to kick. Or at least now we are. Anderson has already made a 47-yarder. Missed one earlier from way even farther out. That one was nearly blocked, but either way, puts it through. 27-7. It's a 20-point lead for the Lone Peak Knights. The Miners trailing. Still some time left. We'll see what they can do with it when we return on Max Preps Radio.
Have you always wanted to be a sports broadcaster but didn't know how to get started? Well, Game Mike allows you to go out and practice, just like we need to practice as athletes. You can't get better without work, so gain that experience on Game Mike.
Max Preps is America's source for high school sports, and we're looking for more broadcasters out there that have an interest in providing live audio from their high school events. No experience needed, but
back here inside Knightsfield, where it's been all Lone Peak in the second half. They've outscored Bingham 10-0. It was 17-7 going into the half, and since the Miners have shot themselves in the foot a few times, and Lone Peak has continued to roll offensively. 27-7. We're about to have it kicked away by Anderson, who's been one of the stars of the night with his 47-yard field goal. That one bobbled for a moment, then picked up. Giving the run that time is Davis. Davis squeezes down the left sideline. Davis up it just past the 30, but not quite to the 35 as he's shoved out of bounds. 27-7, 7:37 to play. We'll be interested to see who comes in at quarterback for the Miners. Will it once again be Kaili? Or are they going to roll back with Salazar? And at the moment, it'll be Kaili who makes his way back out there. Flanking him in the backfield is Britton Anderson. Could be Iono. Kaili pitches it, but that one just kind of dead from the start. Mulitalo, the tackle for loss. Mulitalo blew that one up from the start. They tried to get the pitch over that time to Swenson, and Swenson nowhere to run that time as he's buried. Mulitalo had himself quite the game, putting the state on notice. Miners taking their time offensively. It was a 6-yard loss by Mulitalo. Kaili had the snap, but it's a false start. A lot to clean up for the Miners in this one going forward. Bingham and Lone Peak will both probably more than happy to play this game Thursday, get that little extra time. Even the day's rest can make a difference for certain injuries and different things. So they'll be in that ball, both in action next Friday.
5-yard penalty brings up 2nd down and 11 for the Miners.
27-7. Ka'ili, the Miners offense, facing 2nd and 11 from the 31. Ka'ili, the sophomore, motions a man behind him. Ka'ili gives it to Iono. Iono straight ahead, gaping hole, and he bursts through it for a gain of about 12 and a first down.
McCoy, Iono, the ball carrier, picks up a first down for the Miners.
27-7.
For the Knights.
6:20 to play. We'll see if they give Ka'ili, the sophomore, a chance to air it out here. 4-man front. They'll motion it again. They'll pitch it over on the outside. Making a cut around that time is Davis, and Davis with another big gain and another first down. Back-to-back ones for the Miners. Their offense starting to find some momentum as Ka'ili jogs over to the sideline. Rona Ka'ili or Anthony Salazar. We'll see who will be the quarterback next week for the Miners. (27-7). 1st and 10 from the 46. Ka'ili with a clean pocket, drops back, looks, gonna try to escape it. No time! He's dropped. It was a good pocket at first, but nothing materialized and no one got open downfield, so leads to the sack. Mulutalo credited with another sack, as well as was another night. The outpouring continues. 5:08 to go, 27-7. 2nd and 13 from the 49. Ka'ili on the give. Swenson's got a hole and gets through for a big gainer. He'll make it 3rd and 4. Just under 5 to play now. If you're just joining us, Lone Peak struck first in the first quarter with a 73-yard touchdown pass on the best throw of the day made by Jackson Blake when he hooked up with Jay Sean Mayberry. The Miners would once again be forced to punt their following drive, and Lone Peak would capitalize on the very next play with a Brooks Wild touchdown to make it 14-0. Swenson met in the backfield immediately and buried on the handoff. All over him is Easton Anderson, the linebacker, making things happen.
Easton Anderson with the stop. Chase Swenson.
It was 14-0, and after that, that's when Sudbury and the Miners were able to punch their way into the end zone, making it a one-score game. Lone Peak was marching down the field, but their offense stalled. They turned to Chase Anderson for a 37-yard field goal, and the kicker, Adam Connors for the 37-yard field goal, and the kicker delivered, making it 17-7. Bingham drove all the way down the field, and there was little time left in the first half, but they had to settle for a field goal after the first sack of the game by Bat Mulitalo. Ka'ili lofts it out, and it's caught. His first completion of the day for Ka'ili.
Caught by Tristan Brimhall.
Brimhall brings it in.
He's brought down by Jaden Mayberry, Matthias Alahine, and Drew Gunnerson.
27-7 now.
The first down.
3:31 to play, and he was short of the first down apparently. So it's going to be 4th down and...
Turnover on downs.
Oh, that was 4th down. My apologies. So that will be a first down for the Knights. Looks like they'll be content just to run it a couple times, and that will wrap up for the game if they can do so. An impressive showing by Lone Peak on both sides of the ball. They gave up the drive early, but then that stand, as I mentioned, and then the second half. It's been a lot of the self-inflicted woes for the Bingham Miners. If they played this game in later in the season, it would be a much closer output. Blake, left hash, keeps it. Rolls to the left, or excuse me, they have actually brought in the backup quarterback now, and that is Isaac Staley. Staley, the junior, 6'5", 205, the lengthy Staley. Did get some reps last season, if I do recall correctly as well. Looking to put the icing on this cake in the 27-7 victory. And they will picks up 6 yards on the carry, but it forced out of bounds, so clock stops with 3:25, 2nd and 4. Looks like they've taken the quarterback out, but the main receivers still look to be in. So Staley in the backfield. And he'll give it this time to Wild. Wild met instantly by the Miners and dragged down for a loss. Once again, appreciate all of you for joining us tonight on Max Preps Radio for what has just been a fantastic night of football to kick off the high school football season. Should be a great year, lots of storylines to follow. And we're just excited to have high school football back all across the state. And as you guys know, Max Preps is your #1 source for stats, news, and even to hear these games on the radio. So make sure you guys keep it locked in to Max Preps. 27-7, 2:47 to go in this one. It'll be 3rd and 5. To see Staley attempt to pass for the first time, and he will. Staley looks left. Looks like he may have Wild and overthrows his intended target in Jay-Sean Mayberry over the middle of the field. And the Lone Peak Knights will send on the punt unit with 2:36 to go.
Grayson Maliga defending on the play.
Knights have racked up some injuries tonight. We'll say after Salazar was taken out, he actually might have been injured on that play. I originally thought he could have been benched as we got flags because of a delay of game, I believe, or a false start. And looks like that was on Bingham, if I'm correct. And it was actually a timeout taken, and since they took a timeout, we'll step away for one final time here on Max Preps Radio, all Lone Peak.
Have you always wanted to be a sports broadcaster but didn't know how to get started? Well, Game Mike allows you to go out and practice, just like we need to practice as athletes. You can't get better without work, so gain that experience on Game Mike.
Welcome back inside to Lone Peak High School, where it's a 27-7 victory in the making for the Knights currently with 2:35 to go. Lone Peak set for the punt. The punt back deep. Brought in that time, making a couple misses on a strong return that time. So I'm waiting to see who the Miner was. As it was Dottie trying to bring it back. 2 minutes and 22 seconds, all that remains in our first and lone game on this Thursday night in the state of Utah. Lone Peak looking to put the finishing touches on an impressive win and really a team win as well. You look at Jackson Blake with his 3 touchdowns. He was exceptional. Then look at the receiving core as well. Trey Robinson with his big-time plays, a Moss and another almost highlight play. Hoffheim contributed as well as Mayberry. That pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. It's Kaili unable to complete it. Joshua Empey credited with breaking that ball up.
We want to thank a few more of our sponsors: Wallabies, Walmart, Wilkerson Farms, Mizu Pools, Alcorn Dental.
27-7. 2:18 to play. Kaili from the 31. Lofts it out, trying to get his man. Exceptional coverage down the field that time, courtesy of Dallas Anderson. Settler was the intended target, but he was well covered, as I mentioned, by Anderson.
Dallas Anderson with the stop for the Knights.
27-7 with 2 minutes and 12 seconds to go. Ball on the 31 for the Miners. Ely supported in the backfield by Brimhall, and we got more whistles. Be a false start, I believe, on Bingham.
Penalty is false start against Bingham.
Another false start charged against the Miners. A lot to clean up for them going forward. But don't make any mistakes based on the score. Once Bingham is able to get their players back healthy, this will be one of the toughest teams in 6A. 27-7, 2:12 to go. Ely lofts one up and able to bring it in impressive fashion as Chase Swenson kind of secured it with one hand before using the second to keep the chains moving for the first down.
Ely completes to Chase Swenson. He's stopped by Jackson Arrington, Drew Gunnarsson.
Under 2 to play officially, ball on the 44. Ely gets the completion on a nice throw and a great catch by Swenson.
That's a first down for the Miners. Number 44, first and 10.
Swenson, the senior back, showing out here early. Ely, look at that Swenson again, throws it low and off target with pressure in his face. Backups on the field and now for Lone Peak. 1:36 to go in our contest. A second half that has been all Lone Peak.
Looking for a great bank. Also, ATL Helicopter. They brought in our game ball. Thank you, ATL. Founded in wellness.
27-7, 1:36 to play.
Some more of our great sponsors.
Ely, pressure broken right away. He gets rid of it quickly after he gets blasted. Shaking out of a tackle on the outside nearly there was Tristan Brimhall, who's dragged down just short of the first down marker. Good job by Ely getting rid of that one quickly. Verna Ely, the sophomore, originally we thought would be the starter tonight, but they ended up rolling with Salazar. Salazar, one of the few Miners that we believe has been banged up with injuries. Football extracts a heavy toll in the injury department always. 1:12 to play. Miners would love to add one more score, I'm sure. Zorona Ely looking for his first varsity touchdown and his first snaps on varsity. Four-man front for the Knights. Ely decides to keep it, running up the middle, gets met, but not before he gains about 5. Good decision as that play appeared broken. 45 seconds to go now as the end of this game nears quickly.
3-yard gain in the play, second down and 7 for the Miners.
And Bingham will burn a timeout with 30 seconds to go. It'll be 2nd and 7 from the 43. Once again, recapping our action for one last time. Jackson Blake got the scoring started when he hooked up with Jay Sean Mayberry down the right sideline on a beautifully lofted throw and a nice catch and run after. Then shortly after was Brooks Wild on a wheel route with another touchdown, making it 14-0. Carson Sudbury scored his first of what we expect to be many touchdowns on this season to make this one 14-7. Then it was an unreal kick from 47 yards by Adam Connors as he blasted one in from way outside. And then Bingham stalled inside the Lone Peak 5 off the huge tap by Bat Mulitalo, who's come up time and time again with critical stops in key moments. A missed field goal made it a score of 17-7 at the half. Then Lone Peak and Bingham would battle it out in the second half with the Miners turning it over 3 times in the third quarter. Lone Peak scoring once, courtesy of Blake's third touchdown pass. This one, the recipient going to Trey Robinson on the first "you got mossed" of the season, basically. And all that has led to this 27-7 deficit with 30 seconds to go. Ely takes a snap. He's given time, throws it over the middle of the field, and hooks up with his man in Bryant Jackson. Clock stops on the first down. Miners going with a little bit of tempo, trying to get some momentum and build on some positivity going into next week's action. 14 seconds to go. Bingham is out of timeouts. Ely got to get it off with 10 seconds here. Not a lot of time. Pressure comes in quickly. He just airs it out and going to be tackled inbounds and not for a first down, so that'll end the game. That time was Swenson, and that will do it. Lone Peak opens the season on their new turf, and the Knights claim victory, 27-7 over the Bingham Miners. Jackson Blake excels in his starting role at quarterback, leading the offense along with Brooks Wild, Trey Robinson, and Jay-Sean Mayberry. Bat Mulitalo and Matthias Navahine lead the defense to immense success, leading to this 27-7 victory. A lot of positive things to build on if you're still the Miners. Whether it's Salazar's play overall, Kaili showing some signs late. Hopefully Sudbury can get back and healthy quick. But the season is early. But that will do it from us here from Knights Field. Your final, the Lone Peak Knights 27, the Bingham Miners 7 in the first game of the 2023 high school football season in the state of Utah. We appreciate all of you for listening in. I'm JT Wistersill signing off. Have a fantastic Thursday and enjoy a great Friday of high school football action across the state. You've been listening to Max Preps Radio.
Administration of Lone Peak High School would like to thank all of those who have offered their time.